Hey, what's up, folks? Welcome back to On Texas Football, and welcome back to our Sunday night live stream. We got the all-star crew for you. I'm lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers, pleased to be joined by the man, the myth, the legend himself, Bobby Burton, also a lifetime Longhorn. Also joining us, the estimable Jerry Hamilton. I don't say this a lot, but Jerry Hamilton is the man that discovered Rod Babers. I don't tell this a lot. I should tell it more often.
That was one of the easier evaluations in my 26 years.
Yeah, true story, guys. That's a true story like that. But anyway, that makes me feel old, so I won't go there. But we'll get into anything you guys want to talk about. Questions, comments, throw them out there. Super chats always jump to the front of the line. You can interrupt the show at any time. We got 2 games into the season, so we'll talk about what we think we know about this Texas Longhorn team and where did we see the most improvement from week 1 to week 2. We'll start the conversation there, and then we'll dive into some other topics of the day. But first, before we do that, congratulations are in order for the Texas volleyball team. Guys, me and my wife actually had a commitment over there on the east side, kind of by the school. And yes, they had a thrilling victory over Stanford in 5 sets. They won 3-2. I couldn't figure out why it was so crowded on the east side. I was like, what is going on, man? I was like, it ain't baseball. What is happening? It was all these Longhorn fans were decked out and did the research and was like, oh, the volleyball team is playing in the Moody. And it was, this is the crowd announced at least, was 10,899 was the attendance at that game for Texas volleyball.
That's pretty good. That's the most to ever see a home volleyball game for the University of Texas.
That's crazy. So congrats to them. I mean, I would say they do Pat Gregory every time you want to get in there. And I've actually, I think me and my wife are going to go to one of the games because my mother-in-law used to play volleyball and she wants to see the team and my daughter wants to go. So we're going to be out there hanging out pretty soon and watch the Texas volleyball team this season.
Take that, Andrew Luck. Take that, Walker Little. Take that, Paulson Adebo. Who am I forgetting? Take that, guys. Well, Andrew Luck didn't get an offer, but
Elijah Higgins
about that.
Elijah Higgins is that
he really for him? Walker Little was the one.
Oh, Caden Smith.
Take that.
Where was I out of Houston? Where was he out of?
Caden Smith was out of Farmount Marcus.
Yeah, he was out of Solomon Thomas out of
Coppell. Take that, Solomon Thomas. Well, Christian McCaffrey wasn't offered, but
he was also out of Colorado. Yeah, all the guys that Jerry mentioned were from the state of Texas. Hey, Rod, you mentioned this. That it's big. I mean, 10,900. The ladies are ranked number 2 in the country right now.
Is Nebraska one?
What's that?
Nebraska's one.
I believe so.
I watched them in their season opener. They're really good. If those 2 teams meet, it's going to be a battle royale.
Yeah. Long story short, I just think it's great whenever you have energy around campus, especially after a big football game. It's not. I mean, Texas, is a football school. Make no bones about it. And I think that's what it has been and what it will be, hopefully forever. But I'm a big believer in all sports achieving greatness and representing the University of Texas, and that's what the women partially did earlier today. Congratulations to Coach Jarrett Elliott and all the women that won that game for the Longhorns.
Nice. Good stuff, ladies. We appreciate them because, man, keeping up that standard, that championship standard on the 40 as we always talking about. All right, let's dive into this topic, Jerry. You brought it up, and I thought it was a good one when we got into our discussion right before the live stream. Where did we see the most improvement from week 1 against Ohio State on the road, week 2 against San Jose State? Obviously, considering the opponents, of course, but open it up to you guys. Jerry, where did you see the most improvement?
Well, I thought defense was extremely vanilla. Rod, I don't know what your second watch told you, but I thought I didn't think there was going to be much we were going to see there when I watched the game. Other than we said it was a Ty Anthony Smith game, Jelani McDonald was really, really good. I thought Murad Watson was a beast in that game. But I was looking more offense. I thought Arch Manning obviously took a step. He was going to take a step. It's how big a step. I think he took a couple of steps in that game. I thought the Texas tight ends.
Man,
I think the Texas tight ends have a chance to be really, really good as the season moves along. Because injuries obviously is a big time pass catching threat. Nick Townsend's going to be a factor for this team. Blocker and as a pass catcher as he gets going. Emery Winston with his first catch. Jordan Washington had a tough drop but came back, bounced back from it. I think the tight ends are actually going to be a position of strength, and I think Sark's going to find a way to get those guys even more involved in the offense as the season moves along with 2 pass catching threats on the field at the same time in 12 pers.
I'll echo Jerry's sentiments on the tight end room. This group 8 games in is going to be as talented as Texas has been at tight end in a long, long time. Because I think Jack Indries is I don't know if he's a great inline blocker, but I think he's a sneaky wide receiver that has good ball sense, if that makes sense, and understands the places. I think he's connecting with Arch. Everybody wants to talk about Parker Livingston and how he's connecting with Arch. Jack Indries is too. Cedric Baxter out of the backfield has. I think that there's 3 guys right now that Arch is looking for and connecting with. Now he's got to get more going, and he's got to get Wingo going. But overall, the most improvement I saw week to week certainly was offense, and it certainly was Arch Manning. I thought there were fewer rush throws, fewer looked like deer in headlights or yips or whatever you want to say. I felt like it just fewer misfires, right? Like I could go back and say there were 3 or 4 passes I didn't like out of 30, whereas against Ohio State, I think there were 12. Does that make so? And that's even with a step down in competition, which we all knew was going to happen. That's still a significant number because Jerry, you were talking especially about that Jordan Washington came back and made that catch over the middle.
Nice.
Arch Manning stepped up to give himself. He had a free rusher against him on that. And he stepped up to give Jordan Washington the time and give himself the time to come open and get that ball to him. I thought there were signs, more than just signs of life with Arch Manning. I thought there were some real signs. And Rod, what you said in the second watch, I thought was very interesting. He's showing what his strengths are. And you mentioned, I mean, he's 50% on long ball right now.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean that's now, and one of them was against Ohio State. He was 3 of 6 long ball against Ohio State, and you said 4 of 8. And one of those, he's really 5 of 9 because one of them was called back, the Parker Livingston catch.
Oh yeah, the scramble drill.
Yeah, that would have been 5 of 9.
Yeah, that scramble drill. That would have been nice.
So he's showing. Now.
By the way,
he's got to keep coming.
I don't know if it's the best ball he threw all day was to Aaron Butler. That was the best ball he threw all day. Aaron Butler had his right mid on. It was an opposite hash, about a 40-yard throw from the opposite hash. That was the best throw all day. And when he walked over to the sideline, I'm not an expert lip reader. They're not going to put me on the Maury Povich show or anything anytime soon. But I think Sark said you couldn't have thrown that ball any better or something along those lines for the lip readers out there. I thought that was the best ball he threw all day, by the way.
I will to add to the running commentary nationally about whether or not Arch is hurt. That was the throw subsequent to the grimace throw to Ryan Wingo over the middle. So, I mean, he went from throwing a bad pass where he grimaced to the feet of Ryan Wingo to a frozen rope 40 yards down the field. It ain't his shoulder. If something's hurting him or he's grimacing for some reason, it ain't his throwing shoulder. I'll tell you that much. Because that dude, I mean, he overthrew Ryan Wingo 60 yards down the field.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
– And then he overthrew one that was just out of bounds. There was actually that throw missed by 2 yards where Wingo had his guy beat on a little bit of a hanging in the pocket. That was about, I think that may have been an opposite field hash. I think that was.
No, that's the one I'm talking about that he overthrew.
Well, no, I was talking. There's 2 in the post route early in the game, which he just airmailed. He shouldn't have ever thrown that ball, but he threw 2 balls that were 55, 58, 60 yards in the air. I mean, it's like People can talk all they want, but
yeah, I don't know.
His deep ball is legit. Like even the misses, or you can tell like he's leading that guy out there. Lane says Arch is self-critical. He was cringing, not wincing. Yeah, cringing at the miss. Some people said that he was like, no, he knew it was a bad throw when it left his hand. He was like, damn it. So,
he might have felt his left side open up too early on that.
But I will say, to your point, before we get to the super chats here, you guys brought up the tight ends. I do think that's where you saw the most improvement from week 1 to week 2. I remember literally complaining about 12 personnel and how little production you got out of 12 personnel versus Ohio State. And I remember telling you guys, I was like, it's almost a waste of a player out there. You're basically going out there 10 versus 11 at times. You got to get more juice from your 12 personnel. And I suggested, of course, using 21 personnel, 2 back sets, but no Trey Weiser in this game. So I didn't expect to see 21. But guys, all your big plays came out of 12. All your big plays came from 1 back, 2 tight ends. Your 83-yard Livingstone touchdown, the 36-yard injuries at wide delay that they love so much, the 42-yard one of Livingstone with the penalty that made a 32-yard gain, the 22-yarder to Washington over the middle. I think the guy was kind of draped on him, ended up being a good play, and that 33-yarder to Winston, which was kind of a scramble drill throw. All out of 12. Your biggest plays came out of 12 personnel. So that's where I think you saw the biggest improvement, because you were averaging less than like 4 yards per play out of 12 personnel versus Ohio State. And turns out this game you really found a way to juice it up. And they're deep there. So, and they broke out the 14 personnel package. I'll say this, Jerry, before we get to the super chats. Nick Townsend is your back.
Yeah. Look, it's only a matter of time till they throw it to him on a play action in the red zone. That's coming.
Yeah, I like that. All right, let's get to the super chats here. Thank you, guys. We appreciate it. Juan's up first. Juan, thank you for the super chat. Juan says, Jerry, what do you think of Florida? You said it yourself. USF was a tough football team. Their head coach would be coaching Florida next year. Thoughts?
Alex Galesh is going to be on that short leash. That short list.
Yeah.
The short leash is different. Galesh is going to be on the short list from what somebody told me today. And yeah, I don't see how Billy Napier overcomes this. I will say this. They go to LSU. They go to Miami. They are going to be a wounded dog when Texas comes to Gainesville. They're going to be dangerous in that scenario. For Texas, because it's an off week. If things don't go well, now LSU had some key injuries last night in that win. It's not being talked about enough. We'll see how healthy actually LSU is this week. They lost. I think they lost their center to a pretty high ankle sprain in that game, and maybe a couple other guys. I was traveling, so I didn't see it. So somebody in the chat may know there are other injuries. But if Florida drops the next 2 at LSU and at Miami, which they will be favored to lose, then they're going to be 1-3, and they're either going to be playing for their lives and fighting for their coaches' lives, or they're not going to care. And I tend to think early in the season, they're going to feel like they're playing for their lives. Texas is going to get a good shot from Florida because they're going to be a really wounded dog. Now, health-wise, let's see where they're at, because South Florida's physical team, LSU is going to be very physical. Lagway is going to get hit in that game. They're going to bring Blake Baker's. He's got his dudes to blitz it and bring it this year. And then Miami's going to be a physical game. Ruben Bain's going to hit him. And Miami's going to be so physical in their offensive front. Let's see where Florida's at health-wise after those 2 games. But, the problem for Florida and anybody that fires a coach right now in today's day and age, if I'm Florida, the number 1 guy wants Dan Lanning. The problem is he's going to be in the playoff. So you're not going to get that guy. So where do you go? Galesh was brought up today. That's going to be very interesting for Florida. Because just the way this thing's set up with the playoff schedule, signing day, portal window, Bobby, if you have an opening now, you're not going to hire somebody in the playoffs unless you're pretty much giving away a season and saying, we're going to lose 40 guys and it's just going to happen. We're not going to sign a class. Everybody's going to take our kids. It's a tough spot to be in. It's why I think you're going to see teams like that hire somebody not in the playoffs.
John Gruden wants back in. I will say this, and you can ugh all you want, and I agree with you to some degree. The reality of it is, I'm not so sure that, given the transfer portal and given the new day and age we are in college football, that pro football coaches won't ultimately be better because they're more accustomed to being divorced from player evaluation and having control over their roster. And so you literally could have your evaluation team and general manager separate. You know, we'll see. It's just something to think about. I would say this.
I want to go. Archer says Florida's not a better job than Oregon. I disagree with that.
You're wrong about that. He's wrong. I agree with Jerry.
Florida's a great job if it's done right.
Yeah, it has to be done right. The reality of it for Alex Golesh, the South Florida coach, is no team has beaten two better teams than they have. I mean, who has two better quality wins? They've beaten Boise State and Florida.
If they play Miami close, they're the favorite to go to the playoff as the G5. If they just play Miami close,
they have to keep winning. They'd have to keep winning
out. Yeah, and keep winning. They're the favorite as the G5.
As far as Florida is concerned, Rod, I would say this: when your team or your fans are yelling fire or chanting "Fire Billy," that may be a bridge too far.
Yeah,
it's going to be hard to come back from that. DJ Lagway did not look great in that game. Did not look. I mean, he's missing what I thought were relatively easy throws. He'd make some hard ones that you're just like, wow, he's got a rifle, and then miss the easy ones. But anyways, we'll see. That's 3 weeks away for Texas. I'm more focused on what Texas has to do in the next 3 weeks to become ready for SEC play, because as I look at the SEC right now, you see it widening a little. Vanderbilt scored 34 unanswered against
Diego Pavia, man.
He scored 34 unanswered against Virginia Tech. Kentucky took Ole Miss to the end of the game, and they played well. They're a little bit different with Zach Calzada at quarterback. And then also, you got to mention Mississippi State beating Arizona State last night.
Sam Leavitt, bad football game. Arizona State, bad football game defensively.
I
mean, Brennan.
But my point is, that's what you get in the SEC, and why I'm focused so much on Texas's improvement is because if Texas doesn't improve between now and then, they're likely to get upset by one of those three teams. They keep improving. Arch keeps improving. They find themselves, their identity on offense, which is what we're hoping for. Then I feel more. Then you feel more confident about those games. But I'm telling you, those three teams right now are showing they got a little something. So those are ones that you put in the W column.
Yeah.
In the preseason, pretty simply.
Those supposed to be the pushovers.
Yeah. You scored 34 unanswered in Blacksburg. That's legit now. That's legit.
Yeah, I mean, Diego Pavia, man. Look, for those that haven't seen the Netflix SEC series, that guy's he's a winner. He can pull every ounce out of a team. It's not about stats with him. He can pull every ounce out of a teammate and a team. I'm not saying they're going to win the SEC. I'm not even saying they're going to win 8 games. I'm not saying that, because everybody takes what you say on these shows and runs with it like it's something more than it is. But that guy is a true winner. But you can be a true winner at Vanderbilt and win 7 games and be really good at it.
Oh, no doubt. And honestly, that program, I think they're gonna struggle to try to find anything to replicate what he brings to the table when they leave. They still got a good staff and everything, but to Jerry's point, he's got that it quality.
He really does.
He oozes that it. That's kind of what his X-Man ability is. He just got a lot of that it quality that it takes to be a leader. All right, let's get back to the super chats. Thank you for that one, Juan. That was a good question. Rudy here. Thank you, Rudy. We appreciate the super chat. Says people are speculating that Arch has a hurt shoulder, but seems like he makes a face because he automatically knows it's a bad throw. Yeah, we discussed that a little bit. I mean,
he could. Hey, look, he could just as easily have felt himself open up too early on that throw. because those throws he misses. And by the way, we said this was going to happen. We got Booger McFarland on TV breaking down the errant throw. If anybody and everybody is breaking down every play throw Arch makes, good or bad, it's amazing. Yeah. Not that he's not qualified, but I think sometimes if Arch feels himself open up too soon, I think you get a reaction from him.
You think he's being hard on himself, essentially? I could buy that. What I don't buy is that he has a shoulder problem.
Yeah,
I could buy he's got a lower leg problem and it hurts him when he plans.
Yeah,
so I could buy he's got a little bruised rib and I could buy any of that. I ain't buying there's anything wrong with his shoulder when the very next play he rips a frozen rope 40 yards downfield. It just the world don't work that way. When a guy loses his fastball in throwing it, he goes from 94 to 89. He doesn't go from 95 to 97. Yeah. It doesn't work that way. Yeah. I mean, he absolutely ripped that ball to Butler. And so,
and by the way, he's running. Rod said it last week. He's running. He's taking hits.
Designed runs against Ohio.
Designed runs.
Yeah. No. All of the
Sandman. No. Yeah, you're right. Good one.
Yeah.
I just think all the evidence suggests otherwise, but I know the conspiracy theories out there online.
Well, Rod, you played the NFL. You think a Manning would let their kid play with a hurt shoulder?
Yeah, that's another great point, Bobby. Great point.
That could be a $500 million bad decision if he becomes what we think he might become one day.
Yeah,
I mean, $500 million. By the way, congratulations to a University of Texas student.
Oh yeah,
I don't know if y'all heard this or not.
What happened?
But a pledge at ZBT at the University of Texas apparently split the lotto last night.
The Powerball, it's a lotto.
No.
Yes,
430 million after taxes in Powerball.
What?
University of Texas student.
And no Stupsify. He's not going to help your NIL issues. The rich just got richer.
That's amazing.
They're saying it's true. Look, I read it. Somebody reported on it. So some people are saying, well, is that 100% true? Let's find that out. But apparently a University of Texas student
well, it's easy to find out because the winning ticket was sold in Fredericksburg. That's like if you go to TexasLotto.com and you look at the winner, it says where the ticket was sold. It was sold in Fredericksburg. So if the guy was in Fredericksburg 2 days before the drawing, he's probably your guy.
So y'all saying like a student, though, like a 21-year-old might
have
won?
That's what we're saying is being reported by certain people.
Oh, man.
Let's find out if that actually turns out to be the case.
Well, yeah, we'll see if that turns out to be true because the ticket was sold in Fredericksburg. So would that guy have been who claims to have won it, been in Fredericksburg a day or two before? You never know. It's an hour away.
That's called fraternity trip.
Yeah.
Nobody say, that ain't nothing but just a little trip with the boys, hanging out, kicking it. Oh, with your lady. Oh, man. That is true. Good for him. That's fan art.
Arch just went to the number 2 most eligible bachelor on the Texas campus.
Do we know does it have to be? Do we know it's a dude? It can be a woman?
Oh yeah, no, it was. No, yeah.
Apparently,
if it was a woman, we'd never see CJ again. He'd be over there trying to say hello.
Allegedly, it's a dude. Yeah,
it's a dude. Okay, well, there you go. He's a bad man. I'm jealous of him. There's no doubt about that. I wish that was me. That's fantastic.
Hey, I have a question for you. We were talking about LSU a minute ago, guys, and their struggle a little bit with Louisiana Tech. Don't forget, Clemson struggled with Troy.
I'm not sure how much they struggled. La Tech had 75 yards with 2 minutes to go in the third quarter.
The offense struggled at least. And look,
finishing drives. Yeah.
Okay. But Clemson was down 16-0 to Troy at half.
Yeah.
Okay. Now they came back and won, but my point is, let's see if the transitive property works against LSU versus Florida, or if South Florida is just that good. This may be a big weekend in college football. Overall. A&M, Notre Dame.
It's a huge weekend. Georgia at Tennessee. They're a 7-point favorite, opening 7-point favorite. I'm shocked. But there's some big games in college football this weekend. I mean, some really big games. I mean, Clemson's at Georgia Tech, right? I mean, so we're just talking about Clemson, but Georgia at Tennessee. That's a big one in SEC play because Georgia's schedule's really tough. You mentioned South Florida, Miami, Florida at LSU. I mean, we've talked about Florida. A&M at Notre Dame night game. I mean, we're going to find out about A&M. Notre Dame had an off week, by the way. A&M played last week. Vanderbilt at South Carolina night game.
Oh, that's good.
Because South Carolina did not – I mean, there was, like Bobby said before the show, there were a lot of lightning delays on the East Coast. The Georgia game, the South Carolina game. I don't know if the Clemson game was impacted. They moved the Georgia start up and then were still delayed. So there were some delays for extended period of time in some of those games. So it'll be interesting to see. But there's some big games around the country and in the SEC this weekend.
All right. Before we get back to the super chats, let's thank our sponsor before we get back to the conversation. Thank our friends over at Rogue Shop, rogueshop.com, ladies and gentlemen. That's where you need to go. And don't forget to use that discount code. You see it right there on your screen, OWEN Texas, and you'll get a very special discount from our friends over at Rogue Shop. They have it all from oils and creams to flour, gummies, and vitamins. They're bringing real plant medicine back to its roots. And if you're dealing with anxiety, maybe you're dealing with sleep deprivation, maybe for you, it's aches and pains from battling Father Time, or maybe from your playing days. Our friends over at Rogue Shop have a variety of different items that'll help you battle those ailments and do it successfully. Actually, we had a member of the OWEN Texas football family tell me now they swear by the items over at Rogue Shop because they were having trouble sleeping, and now they sleep like a baby. So check out rogueshop.com, use that code OWEN Texas, and you'll get a discount from our friends at Rogue Shop, bringing real plant medicine back to its roots. All right, Blake's up next with the super chat. Blake May, thank you for the super chat. We appreciate it. Says, are you concerned on how long Arch held on to the ball during his reads? Seemed like the wide receivers were open way before he throws. Thoughts on the Red River rivalry after week 2?
What was your second watch on that, Rod, on that topic?
I believe I don't know if you want to look at Pro Football Focus, I think they have his time to throw, average time to throw in that San Jose State game at 3 seconds. I think overall they have it at 3.14 seconds average on the season. I believe that's what it was last time I looked. So, I mean, I think there are times where he struggles with anticipation. And because of that, he's almost sometimes waiting for guys to come open instead of throwing them open. And I think that could lead to him holding on to the ball maybe a tad bit too long, or holding on to the ball with too long, and he ends up checking it down, which I also think he's done a couple of times where it's been there. There's a window. And then when you miss the window, I guess that is a responsible thing to do. Hey, keep it and check it down for him. But I would like to see him get rid of the ball in rhythm more. And I bet if I went back and tracked a few times where he throws the ball in rhythm, that I bet he's getting rid of the football faster than his average time, which is 3.1 seconds. But he also many of those throws, guys, where he's in rhythm. But in this game, he had a lot more of them.
Wouldn't he be, in that regard, Rod, wouldn't that be on straight dropbacks where he's more in rhythm? All right. But based on what you've said to me and what we talked about today on the second watch,
I think he's more like in sync. And I think even his mechanics are more aligned, and he seems more comfortable in straight drop back situations. And the numbers, the Pro Football Focus numbers, go watch the second watch. They also back that up. And I think a little bit of the eye test backs that up. I'm not saying he won't be great in play action and under center play action, which I think they want to do more of, and RPO. But I think sometimes he struggles with maybe having to turn his back to defense, or having to reassess the defense once he gets done with the play fake, and then the footwork that goes with that to try to get his footwork and mechanics back to throwing the football, and have that be something that also can be misaligned with him. So I just think he's comfortable in the straight drop back situations. And like I said, the numbers do actually back that up. So I think And he's a vertical shot guy. So that's also why he holds on to the ball a lot more. Quinn was getting rid of the football quickly, on time and on schedule. And Quinn did not look to get deep into progressions and to throw the ball vertical. Arch does, and Arch is good at it. So I think also just naturally with his skill set and preference, you're going to have him holding on to the ball just a little bit longer so that he can take those shots, which I don't think I think that's just kind of how it's going to be that style of an offense.
Yeah.
We got to get used to
pressure on the offensive line, Rod.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and maybe that's why they like some 12 personnel taking them shots. Maybe they like the extra blocks. Sometimes they'll go max protect and just let him take those shots downfield. I've seen that a few times too. So,
hey, I want to bring this up because we're fast approaching the end of an era. Mike Gundy needs some rogue shop. I'm sure he's not sleeping well. I just want to say, and I just want to get this in because after 69-3, we don't know when the end of the Mike Gundy era is, but it's coming quickly. And I do want to say that guy's been a tremendous coach for a long time and did a great job at Oklahoma State, and they'll never have anybody as good as him. But it very rarely ends well. And this one's not going to end well, but that guy's a hell of a coach. He had a hell of a run. But it's coming to an end quickly. You can't lose 69-3 back from that. It's not happening. It's about to be it.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I don't know who they're going to get to replace him that's better. How are you going to upgrade? But the NIL, the new landscape of college sports really is what I think did Mike Gundy in. And his inability or maybe his unwillingness to evolve with the times. But he's a damn good football coach. Everybody knows that. So somebody's going to end up with a hell of a coach.
If he wants to coach anymore,
That's true.
Cordy, will they win a conference game? I don't know if Oklahoma State looks like they can win a Big 12 game right now.
Hey, GJ Kinney is going to be a hot name.
Or Jeff Traylor. One of those two guys will be in it.
They'll be hot names. GJ just beat Traylor this weekend. It'll be interesting. That there are going to be some jobs open this year. I think that people are going to track. Is my point.
Yeah.
We'll see.
To finish up Blake's question here, I think he wants to know thoughts on the Red River rivalry after week 2.
Are you going to start calling him Johnny Mateer? Is he Johnny Football?
Not even close. Not even in the same stress.
I don't know if he's like that, but he does ball though. He balls out. Like he balls. Like I'm not
he's a good player, but he's a good player.
Yeah, he adds juice to their offense, and it's an offense he's comfortable in. And I think he's a decent agent of chaos when things break down. Yeah. So he's going to be a problem for a lot of schools, but Texas, he's going to be a problem for Texas. They're going to have to figure out how to corral him.
Yeah. But I'm going to put mine out there. He ain't even in Johnny Manziel's stratosphere. So Oklahoma fans can jump on that one. No chance. No way.
He's not as athletic as Johnny Manziel or as fast. I mean,
Johnny Manziel is a freak in college football.
Yeah, I think Mateer is really good. I think that he's given them a identity. Like I feel like they know what they're trying to do on offense.
Yep.
And so that alone bodes well from them in Red River compared to 2 of the last 3 years where they've had no clue.
Mm-hmm.
And the one time they did have a clue of what they were doing on offense, they beat Texas. So let's see. Oklahoma lined up to stop the run against Michigan and did it all except for maybe one play when Justice Haynes popped out the backside. But I think that Mateer gives Oklahoma a shot in just about every game. I've got to be honest. That dude didn't finish at Washington State or was out a little bit at Washington State. If he plays that way, if they run him that much in the SEC, I mean, my gosh. I mean, I know he's good. I know he's strong, but he's not like the thing about Manziel. He was so elusive. He never
hit him
straight on. Yeah. But this dude, Mateer, does not care about his body as much. Yeah. So he's willing to take.
He's got more Sam in him.
Oh, he does. That's a
lot of Sam in the way he plays.
Yeah. He's quicker than Sam though.
But not that physical, not that big of a frame.
But he's still got the kind of grim. Like he grimaces on purpose.
Yeah.
He grimaces to be mean when he gets hit. But I think there's an element there that could be a really, really interesting game. And that's great. That's what we're here for. We want to see good football.
I'm right. All right. Good conversation. Thank you for that super chat there, Blake. Mayo Corn Dog here. Any concern about Anthony Hill starting slow this year? Oh,
I don't think. Look, Rod, how many times have they blitzed him this year?
that's a great question because I can't think of many times right now.
We can count it. I don't have to have all of my fingers. I don't think.
Yeah, I can't think.
Be a dog on this one. I don't need 5.
He did have 2 forced fumbles though.
I know. Like, what is starting slow if you have 2 forced fumbles
in the second game? He did have 2 forced fumbles.
Yeah.
I saw him blitz.
He knocked that dude out when he tried to knock it out. He hit him. Was that punch that strong in me? I think he actually did kind of, make the dude woozy, but I don't think he's starting slow. I'm with Jerry. They need to use him on the edge and as a pass rusher more, either from the second level or blitzing. I think they need to do that. I think they should have helped out the pass rush. They were a little, even Brian Roberson talked about this. They were a little vanilla.
Very.
They could have did more twists and stunts up front. I think they did something. They did something that was kind of cool. They put 4 edge rushers on the field at one time for a NASCAR package, and they bumped Zena inside with Ethan Burke.
That was like Saturday defensively for Texas. Rod was like a basketball team playing an easy non-con game where they were just trying different lineups. They were just taking some looks at things Saturday. Look, my opinion is if Texas had gone out and said, we're going to shut down San Jose State, they could have held them 190 yards in that game if they'd wanted to. And they could have smothered them. But that's not what they were going to do, and that's not what they did. But they could have. If they felt like it. Yeah, they could have blitzed Anthony Hill off the edge, and Walker Eagot would have thrown it to every Texas defensive back on the field. But what's the point in that?
You brought up a name, Rod, that I wanted to discuss a little bit, and that's Zena.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he showed some stuff on pass rush.
Yep.
He's getting some time.
Yeah.
Along with Lance Jackson, along with Colin Simmons, Ethan Burke, Colton Vosick. I mean, Brad Spence had a pressure flushing guy out to the right. They've got a number of guys at defensive end right now. They just do. It's kind of ridiculous.
It is. Yeah, because I didn't count Zena in that group.
Honestly. I know, and they're lining up. He's in the NASCAR package.
Yeah, no, they love. Like I said, they bumped him inside. They had him on the edge playing there. So I did not expect. They like him. I think they like that he's a kind of a natural pass rusher. He had, I want to say, 2 pressures in that game. He had a quarterback hit and I think a quarterback hurry, if I'm not mistaken.
He's long arm, man. Long arm.
He's like a Joseph Osai body.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good one. He's not quite as stocky, right?
Yeah, you're right. He's longer, and I don't know, but I like the way he's moved. I like the way he moves, though. He really does.
How about this for Zena? An explosive version of Ethan Burke. He's got the same length wing. It's a bigger frame guy, but the explosive version of Ethan Burke. Similar. I mean, their body doesn't fill out a uniform the same, but they're similar frame. I bet their wingspans within 1/4 inch of each other. But he has the explosive pass rush ability.
Yeah, that's what he got. He is. He's got some explosive movements for a dude his size. All right. Thank you, Mayo Corn Dog. We appreciate that. Lane C. Wright. Thank you, Lane, for the super chat. Let's get back to some Arch conversation. Do you think scrambling is Arch's superpower? Jerry used to talk about duress in high school. Maybe had the adrenaline dump of his life at OSU, but had great instinct under pressure yesterday. This is a great question, Lane. And I do think one of his, I call him X-Man abilities. So yeah, one of his superpowers is his scrambling ability. And because he can scramble to throw, leading to the scramble drill, which we saw in the game versus San Jose State a couple of times. He had the one that was called back against Park Livingstone. He had the really nice one to Ryan Wingo on the sideline. I think they had another one late where he had to kind of get out of the pocket to Winston, I believe, late.
Yeah, it was Winston on the right sideline.
Yep, and should have had one to Washington, and Washington kind of fumbled it on the sideline. So he's got the scramble drill element. They're going to get better at that. But we've seen it just as a scrambler. You can scramble against Ohio State and take rope the sideline against them. Then you can scramble against anybody. That's an athletic defense, right? And he did it against San Jose State. It's scrambling right now. I've said it before. I believe it is the best cheat code in football for offenses. It just is. It forces the defense to have to account for that QB, which is going to take away numbers from their pass defense, and it's going to, frankly, take away numbers from the rush defense. Because that's a separate, that quarterback run game. Matter of fact, Johnny Mateer said it. I called him Johnny. Y'all got me. Oh man,
that's on the live stream tape forever.
He said it after the game in one of his post game. He's like, the quarterback run game. He said it's every defensive coordinator's nightmare, and it is. They call it a +1 in the run game for a reason. It's like having a whole nother man to defend. And I think now Texas has that cheat code. And Sark, I don't believe Sark is going to, I don't think he wants to dull that instinct in Arch. I think he wants to cultivate it and try to fine tune it and just make sure he doesn't put himself in harm's way. But definitely.
Yeah. So I think Arch as a runner I think he's a good runner. He's not a twitched up, elusive, dancing, darting guy, though. He's more of a get it going and maximize through a combination of speed and enough strength power to fall forward and finish runs, and does a really good job navigating the field and the sidelines as a runner. He's not going to make multiple guys miss. That's not what he is. I think that's the one thing. I think he's very effective, but I wouldn't say he's slippery necessarily.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think I just like how he's scrambling. It's not so much whether or not he can do it. I like how he is doing it. He's not forcing it. He's not taking his eyes down. He's keeping his eyes up. Even on that touchdown run, he had his eyes up while he was moving, and then ended up running for a touchdown after the fact, after he beat a linebacker to the edge. It's not so much that it could be his X-Man ability or a superpower, but it's not, to Jerry's point, it's not it's going to be different. It's just a different type of scrambler.
Yeah.
He is more of an NFL scrambler than he is
agreed.
College football, Johnny Manziel type scrambler, or even a Mateer type scrambler.
Yeah.
Because Mateer's scramble is not going to work in the NFL. It just won't. They're too long armed. Everybody's got long arms in the NFL, and they once they wrap onto you, Mateer runs through a ton of tackles. Really, and I like John Mateer as a player. I think he's a good player. So I'm not, but that doesn't work in the NFL typically. Arch is more of an NFL scrambler. It's just my opinion. And he shirks people at the waist a lot. I don't know if y'all have noticed that, but Arch has, some people have been hanging around his legs. He's worked through them.
I think he's good at tightrope in the sideline better than people think too. He randomly he gets to that sideline, you're like, oh, he's definitely going out of bounds. You're like, actually, he didn't go out of bounds. He has great spatial awareness in that way.
He has to gather with 2 feet though, Rod. Unlike you can pirouette with that 1 foot.
No, I agree. But I think Pro Football Focus has him with 6 scrambles, but I believe he's got 1 touchdown and 2 first downs scrambling. So that's a pretty good hit rate. It's a pretty good return on that investment. All right. Thank you for the super chat. Let's get to Clay G _3. He says, at what point does Wingo start getting some consequence for drops? Got 2 blue chip wide receivers on the bench waiting for opportunity. Ooh, hot take.
I said during a watch with us that needs to be Wingo's last drop of the next 2 games. Like that can't be a game in, game out thing. It just can't be. He's got to. That was an explosive play lost, and that needs to be his last drop for the next few games. And look, hey, everybody has drops. I'm not sitting there saying expecting perfection. Jeremiah Smith dropped 3 balls in the season opener. I saw him drop 4 balls at an Under Armour camp in the bread basket before his junior season in high school. So, I mean, everybody has drops, but that does not need to be a trend because this offense doesn't right now on the surface can't have negative trends. This offense doesn't have enough firepower to make up for any negative trends.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's got to be operating at a high level on this offense. And let's see what happens when Emmett Mosley gets back. What does he add? But still, Trey Wiseman didn't play Saturday. But still, for this offense to operate at its highest capacity, outside of no dumb penalties and those things, everybody's got to kind of maximize what they can do. If you have one of your top guys not maximizing what they can do, that's going to hurt you more than it would if you had a team that had 3 explosive guys who ran 10-2 on it, who could mask errors. Yeah. I don't think you can mask errors as much on this offense.
That was last year, Jerry, to your point, right? They led the country in explosive plays. And so them, being, basically bottom 10 in the country in turnovers lost and having a lot of penalties because they had a lot of penalties last year. Red zone issues, had those last year. You were able, because of your defense too, but you were able to really erase a lot of those mistakes or at least cover them up because you had explosive plays. I mean, 4th and 13 is a primary example, right? You end up in 4th and 13 because penalties. And then you ended up having an explosive play that saved you. Back-to-back ones won the game.
By the way,
that game itself showed you why Texas explosive plays was a cheat code. You couldn't run the damn ball. You really didn't do much offensively. All you did was generate explosive plays, even a punt return. And that's what won you the game. Explosive plays.
Rod, we talked about this. Bobby and I talked about this morning on Rapid Reactions. I really think this team needs Jonah Williams in the return game when he's healthy. They need some explosivity in the return game. While Silas Bolden and Worthy scared the out of you at times last year, you always knew they're just a hair away from breaking a big play.
Yep.
I think Texas needs Jonah Williams on special teams. And he did not. He didn't play Saturday, correct? I didn't see him playing the game.
No, he did not.
Yeah. So he practiced leading up to. They're going to need him on special teams as a punt returner, kickoff returner, maybe both. They're going to have to find a way to get him involved in the return game this season. They got to start having a little bit of scare you factor in the return game.
Yeah, I like that.
They need more scare you everywhere. That's my opinion. Now, Livingston is starting to get there. Injuries is starting to get there. I think Baxter can be that guy. I think that Wisner can be that guy. I think Nick Townsend scares people. I mean, he would be if I were or safety coming up. I mean, did you say? I mean, so my point being is I think they just need more pieces. I feel like Arch improved. Did the receiving core improve week over week? I don't know.
And by the way, somebody asked about a DeAndre Moore update. I don't have an update on him as far as, look, Bobby, we assume he'll be in protocol for a few days.
Yeah. I thought it was a stinger, not a concussion, but we'll see.
All right. Thank you for that. Juan with the super chat here for Jerry. Thank you, Juan, for the super chat. Jerry, how was the recruiting visits? Are we going to get an interview with Tyler Atkinson?
We'll work on getting Atkinson on the show. He needs to get back healthy. He missed the first 2 games. I think they're playing him sparingly until he gets back to 100%. Look, I've heard Vodney Cleveland, James Johnson. I heard all the visits are going to go well at Texas, man. It's not going to be bad at this point. I'm actually going to see James Johnson at Miami Northwestern practice tomorrow. I am in South Florida this week. Going to go see Derek Cooper, going to see Diabell, and a couple other guys, which I may or may not talk about right now. But I'll see James Johnson tomorrow at Miami Northwestern. But all these visits are going to go well. People have asked about Corey Wells, the D-line commit who was at Auburn. None of these guys are going to have bad visits unless you don't get an NIL offer these days. Then you leave mad or one you want. But none of the visits are going to go bad. I've heard the visits went well, especially with the D linemen. And we'll see. I think James Johnson, I think, will be at another Texas game. I think he'll show up somewhere else this season. I always say this. I'm going to keep saying this. I'm not sitting at home on my couch every Saturday if I have a good college game to go to close to my house. I'm just not doing it. I expect to see Derek Cooper on another campus. He'll be in town in a couple of weeks for his official visit. Texas went through this with C.J. Baxter, Jarrett Gibson, something you're going to have to go through recruiting these out-of-state kids, and as well as teams that come into Texas recruit kids. Texas is going to have some guys on campus this season that are committed elsewhere too. So part of it, but I heard the visits went well, but we'll see what James has to say tomorrow, but I think it's going to be pretty positive.
All right. All right. Appreciate the super chat. Let's get to another one here. Spank B. Spank B. Love that name. It says, not trying to start anything, but listening to Ethan Burke post-game interview, it sounds a little concerning. Said guys need to be held more accountable in practice. If y'all heard y'all thoughts. Yeah, we do. I do a post-game, obviously, Bobby, so I did not hear the post-game from the players. But I don't know what in regards what was he talking about. That's interesting though, about accountability for guys in practice. Did you guys?
I didn't hear it, but look, Ethan Burke, y'all mentioned him earlier, and Jerry, you said he needs to be a little more explosive. I think he's playing a great brand of football right now.
Oh no, I didn't say he needs to be more explosive.
No,
I said Zena's the more explosive version of him. Yeah.
Okay. My point is, I think he's playing a great brand of football right now, just on my rewatch. And I would tell you that he's a leader of this team. He's one of the captains on Saturday. I think he's trying to be he's trying to be a captain if he's talking like that. And frankly, I have no problem with it.
No,
I mean, I really look, if he's trying to get people to respond, go for it. Do it in the right way. But it's better to say it than left it unsaid. I'll put it that way.
Mm-hmm. Because the one thing about Saturday is you can talk about penalties, players did well, didn't do well, different spots. But the one thing is, Sark always talks about the standard. The one thing you could take away from Texas game Saturday, they didn't play up to the standard.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't even play close to the standard. Now, I know human emotion. You're coming off the Ohio State game. I know you're not going to necessarily always be able to get up for every team. And Bobby Bowden used to say you could get guys up. They got themselves up for 3, and then you had to work to get them up for a couple more. And you knew there was going to be a couple of games these guys just weren't going to get up for emotionally. It's human nature. But that game was not close to the standard I think that's expected. That was my biggest takeaway from that game. That no matter if you just looked at the penalties, if you looked at a drop pass here or there, missed blocks here or there, it just wasn't up to the standard. And that was my biggest takeaway from that game.
Yep, I agree with you on that, Bobby. Jerry, good stuff. Spank B with another one here, I think, says Coach and CJ, giving Arch a C was a little unfair. What grade would you have given Arch for his performance versus San Jose State?
B. If it were me, and the reason why is I felt like he improved. I mean, he threw 4 touchdown passes, ran for another
295 passes.
Yeah, 1 interception.
Mm-hmm.
Had a couple balls dropped. 21 of 30. Let's just put the numbers in perspective. Had they been catches?
Yeah,
21 of 30 for 325, 330.
Something like that, yeah. That Wingo one alone would have went for
Wingo and Jordan Washington.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, both of them. 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. The other thing is the only other time I felt like he put the ball in jeopardy was on a deep cross to Livingston. It was coming out of his own end zone.
Okay.
Rod.
Yeah.
Third quarter. Safety jumped it. He didn't go deep with Bingo. Yeah. So I felt like he played a really good game. Was he perfect? No. Did he have some small mistakes and critiques? Yes. But I would have given him a B without question. I felt like he played a good football game. Not a great football game, but a good football game. If I were to give him a C or C- last week, I think he deserves a B because, I mean, look, the ball of injuries, in my opinion, was his best throw from a scoring perspective. He was a little late to Parker Livingston twice, actually, even on the RPO in the end zone. But the ball over the middle or down the seam to injuries was just on the money.
On that switch route?
Yep.
Yeah.
On the money. So he's a work in progress like the whole team. Work in progress like the whole team. Really good player. So I think people are going to grade him. I think people are good. Coach Shipley would tell you this. He expects, how can you not expect a lot out of him when you see some of the things he does?
Yeah.
So, it's just normal.
All right. Daryl here with super. Thank you, Spank B, for that one. Daryl with a super chat here says, I know Arch needs work, but I need to see 150 plus yards rushing this week against UTEP to feel better about this offense. Yeah, what about that, Jerry? How do you feel about the rushing attack 2 weeks in now with a little bit more sample size to look at?
Yeah, so it's tough for me, like with Trey Weiser not playing in the game, right? That one's a little bit tougher for me. Because you had one of your top two backs. I will say this: Garrett Gibson was doing some good things, but the same recurring issue. That was Christian Clark's first game, but I thought there were too many missed assignments, obviously, in that game. What will be interesting to me is, we talked about this, how was San Jose State going to play against Texas? Well, how's UTEP going to play against Texas? Because on some level, if they say, all right, here's 7 guys, and you have 5.5, 6, well, then, and we're bringing safety and nickel blitzes in run blitz situations even. At some level, you're not just going to run roughshod over people. So you don't have, and again, you don't have Ricky Williams back there either. Okay, so let's be real. A lot of people tried to load boxes against Ricky Williams. He's a great freaking player.
Yeah.
Okay, so he could run through 3 of your guys and guys that won Lombardi and trophies, National Player of the Year trophies. Utah State ran it okay against UTEP in the opener, and that's the game I'm looking at. Not UTEP, not UT Martin, but Utah State's starting running back was 12 for 88 in that game, but he had a 58-yarder. So outside of that, he didn't really do much. Utah State's quarterback didn't a 15 for 29. 18 was a long run. Utah State didn't run it. Utah State threw it against UTEP. So I'm going to go back and watch some of that and see what UTEP did. But on some level, if they're just going to stack the box, then you got to throw it to open up the run too. I get the point. I do think Texas will rush it for over 150 yards Saturday. I do believe that's going to happen. Actually, by the way, I look for James Simon to get his first action this week.
Nice. I like that.
For the chat, I haven't been told anything. It's just my expectation.
Just got a gut feeling on that one. All right. Thank you for the super chat. Sonny's up next. Sonny V. Thank you for the super chat. Says, I think Arch mostly played great. The only thing that surprised me was throwing that duck ball instead of throwing it out of bounds.
Yeah.
Second sooner. Talk the interception.
Yeah.
I think that's what he's talking about. Yeah.
That was just a bad decision. He just
a bad decision.
Panic moment. Because later on he's confronted also with like a defender right in his face, and he just kind of regathers himself and then makes a better decision with the football. But I just think he was.
So this is what I want to ask you, Rod. I did not see a lot of repeated mistakes from Arch from game 1 to game 2. I just didn't see many. And that gives me, and you talk about, we started this whole conversation tonight talking about improvement. When your quarterback improves and doesn't make the same mistake twice, I think things are in good shape. That's where I think we're going to look up, and we don't know exactly where Arch Manning's going to be in 2 weeks. I really don't think we do. As long as he keeps gaining his confidence, and he now needs to introduce other receivers to the mix other than just Livingstone or Livingston and injuries. I think we're going to be there. I want to say this. We need to start calling Parker Livingston.
Yeah.
We've been saying Livingstone because it looks like Livingstone.
Oh,
it is.
Will Matthews, for those that didn't know, asked him in the post game. Him and Craig Way asked him. I was driving in transit. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Livingstone.
It's good because it turns out we were pronouncing Bijan's name wrong the entire time.
Yes.
He's such a nice guy. He's like, I don't care.
Yeah, but he had a Bijan Mustardson. So like you would think that was it.
Yep. That's right. So no, I'm glad. So Livingston from now.
Yep.
Okay. We better get it right. The way he's balling, we gonna get his name right.
Just like the Texas City.
Just call him White Chocolate. I think somebody called him Green. What they call him?
Gringo Lightning.
Gringo Lightning. Cisco. That was good. Gringo Lightning. I like that one. All right. I think even Arce, he's pretty fast for a white guy. Even Arce. All right. Joshy here. Joshy with a super chat. Thank you. Says, sorry, I'm late. Never late, brother. Always good to have you in the chat. Did we do O-line talk? Brandon Baker looked rough. So did Cole. Left guard still in flux. Gentlemen,
NATO played more snaps than Connor Stroh on Saturday. Now, I think about 10 of those snaps or 9 of them came when the second offensive line unit came in. So Stroh played just slightly more with the first team unit. Brandon Baker has had a good and bad situation going on. I don't think he was overwhelmed. I think he's missed some blocks. Cole Hudson, I went and rewatched the game today, and I thought Cole did not have a great game. I didn't think he had a bad game. I'm more concerned with the play at both guards right now. And that includes DJ Campbell, not just Connor Stroh and NATO. It doesn't, like, we thought they were going to get more push from the guards this year.
Yeah.
I'm not sure they are.
It'll never happen if you're thinking too much.
Could be.
Because you're not going to be the first man to make contact.
But as a running game as a whole, I want to say this too, because I didn't comment on that portion of the discussion earlier, Rod. I felt like San Jose State really decided to not let Texas just run it on them.
Yeah.
I mean, they had the safety in the box. They were running at least 6 in every box, 7, bringing 8 sometimes, just playing near the box and standing flat-footed on routes. So I don't have a problem with Texas. Like, Texas ran the ball somewhat effectively, especially late with Gibson and some with Baxter even. But I'm not super worried about the offensive line. Actually more worried based on what I saw Saturday, not in the run blocking, but in the pass protection.
Yeah.
I thought I saw some miscommunication when they brought blitzes.
I agree.
They brought 6 and they had match protect. Actually, match protected. They still got to Arch.
Yeah, and one of them, one time, both Baker and Cedric Baxter let a guy go free. And that's I think that was when Arch stepped up and hit Jordan Washington over the middle. It's like, wow, both of them missed him. So it was a miscommunication. It wasn't, Yeah. Anyways, we'll see.
Good point about the pass protection, though. That may be something to watch in the next game for Texas.
Well, if people still keep bringing pressure.
Yeah, I mean, and
why they didn't bring pressure?
It's a young O-line. I'd bring pressure, or I'd do a lot of twisted stunts or some simulated pressures, which is basically that's what Ohio State did. They did some sim stuff coming at Texas. All right, Justin here with a super chat. Thank you, Justin. We appreciate it. Says, is there a team from years past that reminds y'all of this team? Super talented, but having to learn on the fly how to gel together and play relaxed. Oh, that is good. Super talented, young, inexperienced, sloppy.
People aren't going to like this, but it reminds me a little of 2022. Not 2023 or 2024, but 2022.
That's an 8-win team.
It was an 8-win team. Probably should have won 9 in that year, in my opinion. 2 2007. Yeah, they
were. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
Colt had that bad second, relatively speaking, bad second year.
See, 304.
I think it reminds me a lot of 2022, but I think this team has more upside than that team. I think that they just do, because that team only had Worthy at receiver, really, and when Worthy got hurt, it was passing game went sideways. That's my opinion. This team has Colin Simmons, Anthony Hill. I mean, look, defense forced 4 turnovers. They're ready to roll. So more 2022 than 2023. 2023 was buttoned up better, just not as talented as this team in some ways. Not high level talented.
The depth overall.
Yep.
All right. Hooker from Arkansas speaking, talking about this team, said, "I'm concerned this team is an 8-4 team, and they lose the Red River." Going back to Bobby's original point he made earlier, it is about them improving day to day, week to week.
100%.
If they don't, they could end up in one of them conversations, 9-3 and 8-4. We assume because Sark has, I think, done a great job of developing talent and kind of solving problems since he's been here at Texas, that this team will get better week to week. All of his teams have gotten better. And so it's a kind of peak at the end of the season. That's the hope.
Look, here's the one thing I would say. If Texas had won 62-7, I don't think the argument changes.
Oh, no, it doesn't.
Like that's the thing. Like, nobody thought last week after the Ohio State, not many people said Texas was an 8-4 team. They thought, oh, Texas is going to be really good. Great defense, right? And I do. I think Texas was extremely vanilla defensively, by the way, extremely. And I think they will be the next 2 weeks. That's just the way that's going to be. And they're going to bring stuff against Florida and Oklahoma. So next time they're going to bring stuff. But even if Texas had blown out San Jose State 62-7, you had 4 penalties for 30 yards. That doesn't change that. Look, I'm more and more convinced that college football, because of all the roster churns, these teams are going to be a lot better later in the seasons, or the second 4 games and third 4 games, than early in the seasons in college football. You're turning over a 30-year roster every year right now. And I think we're seeing that. We're going to see that in general in college football moving forward.
I just say this. Texas introduced – the reason why I think that it's important to continue to develop is, A, your quarterback, and B, some young players got more action on Saturday. Nick Townsend – first game we learned that Grayson Littleton, add him to the bucket of guys that are going to play, right? Second game, we learned Nick Townsend and Jordan Washington. Add them to the bucket of people that are going to play. They're going to keep adding Anthony Smith. Add him to the bucket of people are going to. I still think, Rod and Jerry, that the strength of this Texas team are guys that are still coming on a little bit. I really believe that. On top of high-level playmakers like Hill, like Simmons. I mean, hell, Trey Moore. I mean, Texas has some Michael Taft. Texas has some guys that'll play, and so I'm not all there on 8-4. I liked what I saw on Saturday simply because I knew the one thing they had to have is Arch Manning to play better. And bottom line, did he play better? Yes, he did. Did he make the same mistakes he made on the previous Saturday? No, he didn't. I'm just telling you, if it's a linear progression for Arch Manning, and it rarely is for any quarterback. If it is, guys, I could say 8-4. I also could see 11-1. I'm just telling you,
I will add, though, if this season's only based on Arch, difference between 8-4 and 10-2, Texas drastically underachieved as a program. Period. Because look, many national championships have won. National championships have been won with bus drivers.
Oh yeah.
So if anybody it can't just be about Arch. If that ends up being the difference between 10 and 2, 8 and 4, this program's seriously underachieved this year.
Yeah, could be, and I would say this. I'll add this to you, that conjecture is it's not just Arch that needs to step up right now. I felt like he stepped up.
Yeah.
Who's next?
Yeah.
That's the point that I'm trying to make. Who's next?
Yeah.
I don't know that other than Nick Townsend, Parker Livingston, and Jack Indries, we need more people to step up on offense.
I agree with that.
That's the reality. It can't just be, to Jerry's point, can't be driven solely by Arch Manning. The whole offense needs to keep stepping up.
Yeah. So by hefty talk, my point is there's been national championships won in every way you can think of. Clemson won national championships with offensive line that had nobody drafted in the top 3 or 4 rounds, and still haven't had a first rounder since '82, I think. They had great quarterback play, great system, great NFL guys all around them. So there's some people say, "Oh, you can't win unless your offensive line's dominant." Well, no, Clemson did that. Oh, you got to have great quarterback play. No, there's been bus drivers win. You can win these national championships in a number of ways. That's all I'm saying, man. It's been won different ways by everybody over the years.
All right. Let's thank our sponsor before we end tonight. We got one more super chat we'll hit in tonight's live stream. Thank you to our friends over at Rogue Shop, rogueshop.com. Use that discount code on Texas, and you'll get a very special discount from our friends over at Rogue Shop, bringing real plant medicine back to its roots. And they ship nationwide. No matter where you are in this great country of ours, our friends over at Rogue Shop can get their fantastic products to you. They have it all from oils and creams to flour, gummies, no matter what you're dealing with, whether it's sleep deprivation or aches and pains from battling Father Time, or maybe it's general anxiety that you're dealing with. Our friends over at Rogue Shop have a variety of different items that'll help you deal with those ailments and battle them successfully. So check out rogueshop.com and use the discount code on Texas. Last question of the day. Freelance Society. Thank you very much, Freelance Society. Appreciate the support. Real journalism at work here. I love Sark as a play caller and don't want that to change. And it seems like a more difficult scheme than other quarterback-friendly offenses. Do you like any other team's offense? It's supposed to be really quarterback-friendly, from what what is at least talked about among football theorists about Sark's offense. I'll also say OCs, or at least play callers that I like offensively. I think Red Lashley's a good one. Lane Kiffin's a good one. Who else is I guess Lincoln Riley is always in that conversation.
Yeah, it kind of depends on what you like, right? What do you like as a college offense? That's really what you're in the eye of the beholder is what a lot of this comes down to, right? It's like Will Stein looks really good at Oregon. They do a lot of things that I like in the college game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he has a super freak. The super freak scored 2 touchdowns on 3 touches, I believe, Saturday. Now he's got a super freak in DeCorian Moore. And he hadn't had a super freak before. He's had some good players, but it kind of depends on what you like as an offense. I mean, in college football, I don't know if there's one I necessarily 100% like over the other. I don't know. I don't know if I have the answer. I think it's kind of in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah.
I don't have I want an offensive coach that is typically very multiple and even with run and pass. Because I will say this, there are going to be times when you need to run it and times when you need to pass it. No offense is perfect, but you need to be capable of doing both. I would also say as you see more games being played, if it gets up to 16 games in a season like Texas played last year, you got to be able to run the ball more. If Texas would have been able to run the ball against Georgia or Ohio State or even Arizona State, those games would have been different. And I think that's my piece on it. I feel like at some level, the defense, when you play that many games, knows what the hell you're going to do before the balls even snap half the time. And so if you can't impose your will at some level, I mean, look, that's what the Eagles did last year to everybody in the playoffs. I mean, everybody knew what was coming half the time.
I do think the one thing to go with that is the one thing, I don't care what your college offense is, what you like to your eye, what catches your fancy. I think in the college game, athletic quarterbacks are a necessity moving forward. Because the one thing about football is guys are bigger, stronger, and faster. And they're only going to keep getting bigger, stronger, and faster on defense. It's going to be really hard to have a quarterback that can only play in the pocket go through a 17-game season and get it done. And I'm not – maybe Drew Allard does it this year at Penn State, and I'm wrong. I think that's going to be difficult, though.
He's decently athletic, though.
Yeah, he is. He's not a statue.
Yeah, I think you're not to belabor the subject. I do think that in college football, a athletic quarterback can make up for a lot of wrongs in your offensive line, which
massive for sure.
The biggest issues and biggest disparities of talent, even in a game like we saw on Saturday, it was not at wide receiver or defensive back for San Jose State. It was along the lines of scrimmage.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's going to happen, in a athletic quarterback. You looked at South Florida. South Florida does not have a very good offensive line, guys. I mean, it would rank near the last in the SEC. Okay. They have an athletic quarterback, though.
Mm-hmm.
He can make up for – in college football, you can make up for that, in my opinion, much more easily than you can in the NFL.
Yeah. I mean, it's not – I don't think it's a coincidence that Sark's quarterbacks are getting more athletic too.
Yes, I agree.
I think he's keeping up with the evolution of the game and understands just what Jerry said. Like, I better get a guy that can move. I know I don't major in quarterback run game, but if I want my offense to be as modern as possible – I need, to Bobby's point, I need a quarterback that's going to make me right even when my play is wrong.
Yep.
And that's what VY did. I mean, that's what great quarterbacks would do.
Not every play, but enough plays.
Exactly. Enough plays. Good question there, Freelance Society. Appreciate that. And appreciate all you guys and your participation in all the super chats. Sorry we couldn't get to all the questions, but if we missed one of your questions that you really want answered, you can just direct them to these two gentlemen, Bobby and Jerry. They will be up bright and early tomorrow morning for a Coffee and Football at 8:15 a.m. You can catch those guys on Coffee and Football along with Blake Monroe. And then also we'll have the Winning Drive tomorrow with myself, Coach Bob Shipley, and CJ Vogel, and that'll be at 7:15 p.m. We'll have our PM live stream with the Winning Drive. And also you'll have Sark's media availability tomorrow. So on Texas Football, we'll have you covered there. We'll have a live reaction to Sark's media availability as Monday press conference. So keep it locked right here to On Texas Football and OnTexasFootball.com. Thank you guys for all of your participation and support. I really appreciate it. And thank you to Matthew, because Matthew is the real MVP behind the scenes. We couldn't do it without him. And for Matthew and for Bobby and for Jerry, and I'm Lifetime Longhorn Rod Davis. Until next time, hook 'em horns.
Hook 'em.